All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Snap Material. That's right. It is May 2024. We are getting you ready for the upcoming season. We're going to be talking about the previous season. We've got a top 5 tonight and no battle just yet. It's coming. Don't worry. We're also going to talk about our unlocks and what we saw this season. Evan's got a little bit of a story that mirrors mine from last month. So this will be fun to talk about. But let's go ahead. We'll get into Thunderbolts. This is the previous season, released April 2nd, 2024. We'll kind of go down through the cards that released. We already gave you an idea of what we thought these cards were going to do. Some of the great combos we came up with, and whether they remained great remains to be seen. But we'll also talk about our interaction with those cards this season, or this past season. So first up on the docket, Baron Zemo, 3 cost, 5 power. On reveal, recruit the lowest cost card from your opponent's deck to your side of this location. So, Evan, did you get the season? I should ask first.
I did get the season. I had just started messing around more with Cable, who's a card I'd used a lot, but maybe because they were changing his cost and his power a little bit, I didn't. I kind of came and went with how often I used him. Mm-hmm. But eventually, I was messing with some cards that depleted my opponent's deck, and I'm like, well, Baron Zemo would just fit in right perfectly with that. I learned we'll probably talk about that more when we get into the meta and stuff, but there's a name for that, and it's not spoken in reverent tones.
It is not. It is not either. And I just about said it too, and I was like, you're right. I'm going to save it. Yeah, it is not. He aggravated me. I'll tell you that much. And I did see him a lot. So it's not like he was, people got the season and were just not finding a place to put him. He's useful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you cannot say that he isn't useful because he's pulling one of your opponent's cards out of their deck and putting them on his side. If somebody has a yellow jacket in there, that might hurt if you got a full side. But
I think I may have even mentioned this last time because we talked about it right as the season was starting. But I know a friend of mine, when Zemo debuted, I think he started putting the hood in his decks more often.
Smart. Yeah, that's smart.
So, but yeah, Zemo's a card that, just like Cable or Yondu, you can combine them to be really annoying, but they also just work if you've got a slot for, a 3 cost card, 3 cost, 5 power, and he steals a card, maybe helps you out. There's some downside, like you said, with Yellow Jacket, but generally not a whole lot.
Next up, Red Hulk, 6 cost, 11 power. When your opponent ends a turn with unspent energy, plus 4 power if in your hand or in play. So yeah, I remember our last discussion, I was talking about how he would pop up, so you knew he was going to come out at some point normally. So, but as far as the season goes, High Evolutionary was tag teaming with him a lot. And it's not like he unlocked any sort of special ability. It was just like High Evolutionary, for some reason, just begged for Hulks to be hanging around him. But that's kind of what I was seeing a lot there. What about you?
I saw Red Hulk everywhere. And I pulled the trigger pretty quick and just got him. I had the tokens, and there were so many other cards I wanted a shot at this season. I just went ahead and got that one. And he pretty quickly started squeezing people out of other decks.
Oh, really? So pretty versatile.
Yeah. Let's see. He a lot of times I would bump Giganto or Infinite out of a deck because he started at 11 and then they nerfed him down to starting at 9, and I still see him all the time, still use him plenty. But yeah, you have to have him in your hand, and then your opponent has to have some unspent energy. But it's not out of the question to get him up above a 14 or even above a 20, and then you can play him wherever you want to play him.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to always playing them on the left for Giganto or skipping a turn or using War Machine to get Infinite in there. So yeah, he made it into a lot of my decks.
Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't get him this season. I was saving my keys, and you're right. He was prolific. He was everywhere.
So there's just not a whole lot of downside to him. At first, I was like, oh, come on. You couldn't even give him to the end of the season, but that nerf didn't slow him down.
Right, dude. You're right.
Heck, it even keeps him off of Shang-Chi's radar for the first appearance.
That's true. That is true.
So Yeah, he's definitely been a useful card. I kind of wonder if they're going to drop it down even more to where he only gains like 3 power or even 2.
Oh,
I don't know, kind of like what they did with Blob. Blob was everywhere, and I guess he did need adjusted. But Blob's another one. Like, why would you put Blob in your deck when you could play Hulk, a Red Hulk?
right. Red Hulk. It's a good point.
So unless you're seeing a lot of Darkhawks, then makes a little more sense. But yeah, he's really useful with almost no downside. Now I was playing the other day and someone got him from the raft, and so I saw him pop up with 0 cost, 13 power, and I'm like, hey, now wait a second.
Yeah. All right. Next up, U.S. Agent, 2 cost, 3 power, ongoing. 4, 5, and 6 cost cards here have -3, -3 power. So how things shake out for you for U.S. Agent?
I think I got him with my second key. And I've always the character tends to be a bit of a jerk, but the costume and the name are like grade A.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and I found him pretty useful. I slotted him in pretty quick on my Iron Slot deck. He's already had Luke Cage in there, so that was pretty useful. And then he made it into my Annihilus deck, or I call them the Annihilators. So he made it in there, and Man Thing was already in there. I'm pretty sure at least once I had them both on the same location with Luke Cage, making sure they didn't mess with each other. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's not like I'm going to build my deck around U.S. Agent and emerge victorious. Although I think I sent you a screenshot or two. I had a couple games in one day where U.S. Agent was the winning card.
He was the factor, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, he's pretty good. It's a bit of a bummer that here's another Captain America wannabe who's better at Snap than Captain America. But at least his is negative. Like at least he's not beating Cap at his own game.
That's true. That's true. They were smart enough to vary it. Yeah, I definitely grabbed him when he showed up. I really didn't see. I was trying to build a deck around him, and I couldn't get a good rhythm going with a deck. I like your idea that you came up with in an Annihilus deck. You could send more negative cards over with Annihilus in that lane, which is pretty nice. But
yeah, if you drop him in and get Sentry to spit the void over there, suddenly he's a -14.
Right.
So you better hope you can send him away.
Yeah. So I couldn't find a good deck to get a good rhythm going with him. And like I said in my notes here, if I threw him out there, he's 2 costs, so you can kind of get him out there early. Your opponent is just going to avoid that lane with 4, 5, and 6s. So it's kind of like tough to not telegraph what you're doing, and it might be key to save him till the end or turn 5, drop him out.
Or it does just make him think about putting those cards out there.
That's true.
Get him away from there.
Yep. Next up, Red Guardian, 3 cost, 3 power on reveal. Afflict the lowest power enemy card here with -2 power and remove its text. And this was another one I went for. And I will say, knock on wood, every single card that I went for this season, I got on first try. I didn't have to use more than one spotlight key if I was trying.
You're not getting any exiles. Jesse, I'm telling you right now.
Sitting there thinking the same thing. I'm really upset about that too. I'm really upset about that actually. But anyway, so Red Guardian, yeah, I got him. I used him quite a bit he was tag teaming with US Agent in one of my decks. I was just trying to like beat the crap out of other cards.
I figure you were guerrilla marketing for the Thunderbolts movie.
Oh, no, I was not. Someone at one point hit my sunspot, which is something that I said I was going to do with him.
Sounds like a personal issue there.
Right on my sunspot. I think I called that strategy out last time we were talking, and of course somebody hit mine and made him a 0-1, and he just sat there, and I was like, that is kind of rough on that one.
Yeah, I've had Sunspot get hit by him. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't as into him, but yeah, he's pretty effective.
I may have used him on Jeff at one point and tried to render him useless. Man, I wish I could think of any other cards that really felt the impact. I still think that he's got an upside, and I think he can be used fairly effectively. You just got to hope your opponent's playing those certain cards. So
yeah, well, if all else fails, he's still a -2 isn't a bad thing.
So that's right.
I've been hit by him a bunch, and he's not one that it's like, oh no, here's Red Guardian, I've lost the game. But he's a 3-cost card. He's pretty useful, and he does 2 things for the price of 1.
I saw, this was recent, and I remember this. I saw somebody, they laid out the next card we're going to be talking about, White Widow. Threw the Widow's Kiss over into my lane and then laid out Red Guardian and hit Widow's Kiss with it, which then all of a sudden made it a -2 instead of a -4. So it was kind of funny because the ongoing ability went away, but it made it a -2.
So there was no way to get rid of that negative.
No, unless I had Luke Cage, which I believe I did. Luke Cage would balance that out, but
yeah,
same. We were kind of talking about. We'll talk about that with White Widow here in a second, but yeah. Anyway, that was Red Guardian. As much as I thought he was cool, I didn't play with him a whole lot. Just every once in a while, I threw him in there with US Agent, trying to smack some people. But yeah, let's talk about.
They're more complementary cards, not ones you necessarily build around.
Anything else on Red Guardian?
No.
Okay. White Widow.
Just that I didn't recognize his costume. I know who Red Guardian is, but I'm like, why does he have a black mask on? I did love with the season pass, you got a Red Guardian emote, which I didn't recognize it was Red Guardian at first, again, because black mask, but where he's like sweating. So that's good if you're waiting to see if you're actually gonna pull it out on that last turn. That's
nice.
Sad.
All right, White Widow, 2 cost, 2 power. On reveal, add a Widow's Kiss to your opponent's side of this location. Widow's Kiss is a card that is ongoing, has -4 power. Disable this ability if your side of this location is full. So I think my notes were here. She was normally hanging out with Annihilus. And that's usually what I was seeing. She was pretty annoying. I've seen her pretty frequently, so it's not like she's a card that's not been used a whole lot. She's been used quite a bit. So
I've seen all these cards pop up pretty regularly.
Yeah, I did not spring for her. I left her where she was at. How about you?
I took a shot at her, but didn't get her. I would like to, though. There's a deck that I got slaughtered by in Conquest and quickly attempted to replicate. I didn't take screenshots, so I was going by memory. I think I got 10 of the 12 cards. One of them I just didn't know what the other one was, and the other one was White Widow.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. She was a little bit better than I expected her to be. Although it was a pleasure sometimes to send that Widow's Kiss back, courtesy of Annihilus.
Ah, yes.
But yeah, I thought she'd be decently effective, but it's just the idea of taking up space. I've had some games where it seemed like I could barely get enough cards out there. And then other times you're trying to get stuff out, and man, that one slot, even if you do get it back up to a 0, it's pretty frustrating not to have it. So I think I underestimated her a little bit.
Okay. All right. Final card, Valentina, 2 cost, 3 power. On reveal, add a random 6-cost card to your hand, give it -2 cost and -3 power. What was your experience with this card?
I have seen her a lot. I didn't think she was bad. I think I underestimated her a little bit to start with, but it was just, I think I got one spotlight key. I'm about to get another one, and I just thought, not bad, but I decided to start saving them because I took a shot at every other card this season. Only got one with a spotlight key. But so I just decided, I'm going to hold off on it. I got her once from the hub, and she promptly delivered me a 4-cost, 2-power Galactus.
Yeah, he's funny.
Spoiler alert, did not swing the game in my favor.
Yeah. I had my deck all ready to go, like when this card was announced, because I knew that I wanted to do. Luke Cage was going to completely offset this whole -3 power thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which it did. It did. And then I was going to have Quinjet in there on top of that to get it down another power. And I think I had Absorbing Man in there just so I could have another card and possibly by turn 6 have 2 6-cost cards at 3 cost and good to go. But
see,
again,
you were planning ahead. I did not plan like that. I was just like,
of course, the bad part is it's random. Obviously, you don't know who you're going to get. It's nice to see Helicarrier come into your hand. It's tough to deal with Infinite coming into your hand on turn 5 or something like that, and you're not going to be able to do anything with them. So it has she definitely has her advantages. Just this past hot location, which was Titan yesterday, she was a star in my deck because
Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah, she was getting that 6 cost was going down a power, and of course I had Quinjet in there. I had Legion in there, and I
No
would.
way.
Oh, believe it or not, yesterday I was so mad because I had to have gone through. All I needed was 2 cards. Okay, all I needed was 2 cards, and that was Mobius and Legion. Those are the 2 cards I needed, and Titan to be a location. And I was like, okay, I could never. It seemed like out of a handful of games, we'll say 10 games, one of those chance things would happen. I could never get, or Legion would either be buried, or Mobius would be buried, or Titan didn't show up. And made me so mad.
I've had some like that. I've had was using a Hela deck, and I've had a couple games where I didn't get Hela or MODOK or Invisible Woman. I'm like, now wait a second, come on.
Right.
I understand that I might not get the magic combo, but
right, just need one of them. That'd be nice. Okay, all right. So that's Valentina. Yeah, I definitely nabbed her. I think she's going to have a home, especially in any collector deck that I create. So, all right. Location. And the first one up is Castle Zemo. The first card you play here switches sides. And speaking of combos you're trying to chase, there were some specific things that had to happen in order for Legion to work here. And that was mainly I had to be in the lead. And then at the very end, you lay out Legion on Castle Zemo, and whatever card that person is playing over on the other side flips over to your side in 2 locations. And it's probably the funnest thing to watch, as they believe they're going to win this game, and then all of a sudden their cards go right over to your side. But again, it was a situation where I felt like I was chasing the combo all day and dropping in cubes. So, but anyway, Castle Zemo, what do you thought?
Yeah, that is where I really started using my Annihilus deck again this season, and where it also dawned on me that one of your favorite cards suddenly worked a lot more in the way I wanted it to.
Okay, all right. And you're
Daisy Johnson, aka Quake, made her way into my Annihilus deck because she's not so random anymore.
No, she's not either.
So there were a couple times that I managed to do that and get somebody to switch a card unwittingly to my side.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I pulled that a few times. So she became a part of my Annihilus deck and stayed there even after Castle Zemo wasn't the featured location.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, wait a second, all I have to do is put her in the right spot, and I can make him go wherever I want. No more of this random Jesse Starcher nonsense.
That's right. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, then after that was Thunderbolts Tower. After turn 5, give all cards here -2 power. And I don't think I even changed my notes on this because they pretty much stayed the same. But did I use the notes that I wrote last season? No, because the deck that I created according to, or let's see, last season, last discussion, I'm looking at it and I was like, I don't remember even putting Rogue or Debris in there, and those would have been awesome in Thunderbolts Tower. I had Luke Cage in there for sure.
Yeah.
And I
don't think I made a specific deck, but I think I made sure Luke was in whichever deck I was using when that came around.
Right. But yeah, it was a decent location. It was fun to watch people try and have to deal with that location when I legioned it and affecting all of their cards. How about you?
Yeah, I think, again, recurring theme, I use my Annihilators a lot there too, because suddenly a rock could be a negative card and something that Annihilus could fling.
Right.
So yeah, that I think that and making sure I had Luke Cage were the main things I did. I don't think I tailored anything real specifically to it, but it's a neat location, kind of the opposite number of Stark Tower. I mean, it's definitely something you got to think about when it comes up.
Yeah.
Especially if your opponent's packing Luke Cage and you're not.
Yes. Yeah. That's where Rogue came in, and I don't know why I didn't put her in there. Okay. Well, that is our discussion on Thunderbolts previous season for April of 2024. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.